This week we're going to go over the makeup department's involvement with the movies. The key makeup artist here, Dick Smith, is the department head that answers directly to the director and production designer. He's responsible for planning makeup designs for all leading and supporting cast. His department includes all cosmetic makeup, body makeup, and if special effects are involved. In this case, Dick Smith, the key makeup artist, will consult with special effects makeup team to create all the prosthetics and special effects makeup in a production. It is common that the key makeup artist performs makeup applications on the lead cast with assistants and allows other crew members to work with him on supporting and minor roles. The key makeup artist will normally execute especially complicated or important makeup processes that are to be featured on the camera. Makeup artists work with makeup, hair, and special effects to create the character's look for anyone appearing on the screen. They assist and report to the key makeup artist. So let's look at a brief history of makeup in the history of film. Starting with the silent pictures, here we have Rudolph Valentino, and here we have Lon Chaney. And then whether it's the romantic lead or the horrific example, makeup was big from the get-go in the movies. Because the lighting wasn't as good and the cameras weren't as well technically advanced, makeup had to carry up the slack for emphasizing the human emotions that we see on camera. Clara Bow here in the 20s was a big star, and you can see here certain aspects of what makeup did early on in silent film to emphasize the eyes and the lips so that the lighting wouldn't could be balanced off in contrast with the makeup. And you see 1920s makeup, we had pale skin against bold eyeliner and eye shadows to make the eyes really present on film as well as the lips. So it's interesting that 1920s makeup probably reflected what makeup artists were doing for film and then became a cultural trend. So what was needed to make the eyes and lips pop out on film under the lack of expert lighting then became the style for the 1920s makeup. Here, the charts are pretty sophisticated in exactly what color contrasts and tones were needed to make a good silent movie. And now, when we do a period piece like The Great Gatsby, we know we can look back and we can see the cosmetic palette that would make the 20s prominent. And we can see its eyeshadow here. Eyeshadow, lipstick, total 20s look. In the 1930s, it changes. The lighting gets better. The lamps improve. The cameras improve. The exposure and the quick development process and sensitivity of film improves. So we're less worried about drawing attention to the eyes popping out on cinema. So we're more looking at subtle effects here. It's about the eyebrows, the eyelashes, and the lips. Here with Jean Harlow, or with Marlene Dietrich, you can see it's the eyebrows again. The eyebrows and the lips standing out, but not as heavy on the eyeliner as it was in the 20s to make it prominent. And Greta Garbo, of course, the exemplification of the 30s look here. And again, it's eyelashes, eyebrows. With color coming in to the movies in the late 30s, early 40s, with, say here, The Wizard of Oz, we've got now special effects makeup having to change because they have to be realistic enough for people watching color films. So the sensitivity to working with the lighting department and the reflective nature of different colors changes the makeup workload in film. And now it's sophisticated these days, but then, even then, to do color makeup means that it then becomes an aspect of shading the different colors and looking for the different contrast to make the colors work. In the 40s, here we have Betty Grable, the look changes so that the eyebrows really aren't as prominent. The lips are, there's a little blush on the cheeks here. It's that film noir look, which is mostly black and white then, with a few color movies, but the look was basically a plain, normal look with the wavy hair, and really was about lipstick. The prominent lipstick was the one significant feature. When television hits, makeup changes as far as makeup artists go and what they have to create for television. Here is an article showing that for television, white highlighting around the nostrils and eyes is necessary for good reproduction. What happened with film, as opposed to TV, TV had the different makeup choices for TV wouldn't work with film and vice versa. So that if you have rouge or blush on cheeks for TV, what would happen is it flattened the features, and what they discovered by experimenting that green actually worked better. Green gave better highlights to the skin. So what they did is they had these strange palettes of different colors, as you can see around the eyes and then the lower part of the cheeks where the shadows are. They would put green or different color contrast tones so that on the black and white TV you wouldn't notice it, but the features wouldn't be as flattened. They would actually have some contrast and depth. In the 50s, it's the Marilyn Monroe look with the fake birthmark or beauty mark, and you can see the difference with the 30s is the eyebrows are gone and the lips are prominent, but it's the pale look against the lips, unless you're doing the Elizabeth Taylor look where the dark look is against the paleness again. So it's the lipstick's very prominent here. When you think of 50s, all you have to think of is these big cherry red lips on Grace Kelly or any actress. It seems like they want the natural tone for everything else, but the lips are certainly prominent. In the later part of the 50s, here we got the Audrey Hepburn look. Look what happens as we go towards the 60s. They're going to cut out the lipstick coloration, and it seems like the development of cosmetics and the different subtle shades of lipstick change the tone of makeup. And here we have back to making the eyes prominent with eyeliner, so that in the 60s things change. Here we have The Fly, late 1950s horror movie, and those changes in special effects makeup that started with The Wizard of Oz are now becoming more and more prominent with color. They really want to make these things realistic. So with The Fly in about 1957, a lot of prosthetics and latex suddenly start getting experimented with. And here in the 60s, to go reverse against the 50s look, the lips are subtler, and the eyes are just way overshadowed. It's the eyeshadow and eyelashes in the 60s. Even Elizabeth Taylor here in playing Cleopatra, it's all about the eyeshadow for her. And look how different she is now from the 50s. Look where those cherry red lipsticks were prominent. In the 70s, we kind of balance out the natural look with getting more rouge in the cheeks. Again, the subtle lipstick colors are gone, and the eyeshadows are gone. But it's more of a natural look. And we saw with Amy Adams in American Hustle, which is based in the 70s, that rouge balances off with her red hair. In the 80s, the face here becomes a graffiti palette, rebellion, just like the hair. So now we can totally go against any kind of natural look. Now it's the face as a canvas look, which brings us farther along with American Werewolf in London. Special effects makeup then suddenly makes huge leaps with silicone and latex, working with all sorts of horror special effects. Or if you have Army of Darkness here, Bruce Campbell, it doesn't have to be horror. It can be any Sam Raimi movie here. Just the subtle special effects of blood and prosthetics changes everything. So suddenly physical violence becomes a lot more real. A nice way of looking at the changes that took place would be to take a look at Dick Tracy with Warren Beatty here in Madonna. It comes along, and then suddenly comic books are going to come to the movies and really look like the way we read those comic books. Here we have Al Pacino. Look at the transformation of his face with just the liner of his mustache and lips. Subtle latex changes on the chin. Dustin Hoffman, again, playing Mumbles here. The latex change in the lips, the heaviness in the eyebrows. everything changes, not overnight, but dramatically in this period, because we can flatten heads, we can widen cheeks, we can do all sorts of things with latex that we weren't able to do before. We can age people dramatically, just the furrowed wrinkles in the brow and the lip lines. It all then changes with improvement in latex and silicone. Here, look at Paul Sorvino's mouth here. We can extend the mouth. We can dramatize the mouth. We can dramatize the eyebrows. Cartoon characters come to life, which is the beginning of Marvel and everybody else coming with their action hero comic book characters. Makeup makes it possible. But for the most part, makeup is to make the actor just more appealing, more presentable, more pleasing as somebody who's being photographed. So we can take a woman who's good looking here, but what we do is just add a couple of adjustments here, a little lipstick, a little eyeliner. Suddenly we have the presentability of what we want for the film. And if we're doing period pieces now, we have this whole palette we can look back to. Here we got the Titanic with Kate Winslet here, and the sepia tones can match the makeup. We got Nicole Kidman. We can play with maybe we're going to do 50s popping red against the paleness, or we can go medieval with Drew Barrymore, where we're going to just tone down all the makeup and make the jewelry pop. Here in the 90s, makeup changes again to give us a little more of this vampiric gothic look, playing a little bit with the 60s eyeshadow and a little bit with the 50s lipstick. And the millennium comes, and then the hair's loose and the eyes are raccoon-like with a little more rainbow hue. Cosmetic changes in just the palette of how many different colors can subtly match things. Very prominent. And so now in 2010 we have a look that's almost 40s, but the difference is we can get a lot more subtle with the rouge and with the lipstick and with the liner, so that we can we can play with periods of time into the present day, where now we can just do makeup so that maybe the sickly look here, the pale rabbit look is in, or maybe not. Maybe it's just the regular look with the disarrayed hair and the lipstick that is nice and subtle. I think the wide variety of lipstick changes everything for the postmodern palette.